In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two highly requested Turtle Wax products. First, from their Hybrid Solutions line, Hyperfoam Wheel Cleaner and Tire Prep. And then also from their Hybrid Solutions line, an accompanying product, Graphene Acrylic Tire Shine Spray Coating. Let's go! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Turner Mobile Detailing. So I've received lots and lots of messages and suggestions to try out Turtle Wax's Hybrid Solutions Hyperfoam Wheel Cleaner and Tire Prep, and also their Graphene Acrylic Tire Shine Spray Coating. Now the Hyperfoam Wheel Cleaner and Tire Prep, it's got some kind of confusing terminology on the front of the label here, the directions, or the descriptions rather. And Turtle Wax is notoriously cryptic when it comes to their terminology and the terms that they use in the description of their products and the directions and so on and so forth. I've reached out to them a couple times on different products, including these, and they're very, very tight-lipped and secretive about their ingredients, even descriptions of their products to a finite degree. I guess they consider it trade secrets and whatnot and copyrighted information, which is fine. But we're going to try to decipher the language best we can. So it says the powerful deep cleaning foam dissolves brake dust and road contaminants easily. The first bullet says wheel cleanse, quick reacting formula, brightens rims. Now that term brightens probably makes you think of Meguiar's Wheel Brightener, which is an acid-based formula wheel cleaner. Now is this stuff acid-based? I don't think so, but that's a little bit confusing. I don't think so. I'm going to go with the assumption that this stuff is not acid-based. If anyone knows any different, please let me know in the comments below. And from the time that I'm actually filming this right now to the time I actually edit the video, if I find out differently, I will leave a note right here or somewhere on the screen telling you otherwise. So the next bullet says tire cleanse. Deep cleaning foam pulls out grease and grime while prepping the tire surface for coatings. Okay, so I guess they're obviously referring to their own product when they're talking about tire coatings, the Graphene Acrylic Tire Shine Spray Coating. So that's that. Corrosion repellent polymer reduces contaminant buildup, making future cleaning faster and easier. So now does that mean, now they're using the word polymer in here, so does that mean that this has some kind of polymer wax or sealant in it that's going to leave behind a little bit of a layer on the wheel itself? If that's true, does it leave anything behind on the tire that might inhibit the adherence of a coating or even a dressing to the rubber? I don't know. That's why we're going to experiment with this stuff, see how well it works. The directions on the back say do not use on factory painted wheels, non-coated aluminum wheels, or motorcycle wheels. If unsure, test on an inconspicuous area. If adversely affected, refrain from use. Use in a well-ventilated area. Always follow wheel manufacturer's care. Maintenance recommendations. Shake well. Rinse wheel with a strong stream of water to remove loose dirt and to cool the surface. Clean one wheel and tire at a time. Spray wheel and tire evenly with product and allow to soak for a minimum of 30 seconds and a maximum of 1 minute. Agitate surface with a strong brush and scrub tire surface with a hard brush. Dry wheel and tire with a clean towel or microfiber for a spot-free shine. Now the directions here are kind of changing my mind a little bit that this stuff is acid-based because they don't want you to use it on non-factory painted wheels, non-coated aluminum wheels, or motorcycle wheels. So all those wheels that they just mentioned, or wheel categories, are wheels that would not have a clear coat on them, or most likely would not have a clear coat on them. And if you've ever used a strong degreaser on aluminum wheels, non-coated aluminum wheels, you know what kind of damage that can do, what kind of corrosive effect, permanent effect it can have on the wheels. So, but if you have factory clear-coated wheels or clear-coated wheels, acid-based wheel cleaners are safe, within moderation of course. Like it says, do not let dwell over a minute. So these wheels here are factory wheels, they're clear-coated wheels, so it should be perfectly safe to use on these wheels. So again, this is a foaming formula. It's got the little foamer tip on there. So the main thing that I want to see with this stuff is how well does it work. This tire and wheel are pretty dirty. The wheel is not so dirty. This is the back wheel, so it doesn't get as dirty as the front. but I'm more concerned on how well it cleans the tire. These are my wheels and tires, and I don't let them get all that dirty. I clean the wheels pretty often, so brake dust doesn't have a chance to burn in and etch into the clear coat or the wheel surface itself. Now the tire is a fairly new tire. I replaced it around 6 to 8 months ago, around 7 months ago or so, and I only cleaned it once right when I first had it to try to get some of the blue off of the white lettering, and it's not been cleaned since then. So let's say around 6 months it hasn't been cleaned. So that means all the road grime and dirt, oils and ozonites that are in the tire itself, that are in the rubber, have had a chance to collect, come to the surface. The tire itself doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look super brown like some tires do when they get really dirty, but rest assured it's got to be pretty dirty. So I want to see how many cleanings it takes for this stuff to get this tire nice and clean. So that means I'm going to clean it however many times it takes to get the suds really white, nice and bright white. That way I know it's nice and clean. And then we're going to use the Graphene Acrylic Tire Shine spray coating. So without further ado, let's get this tire and wheel clean. So as I saturate the wheel and tire initially, we can already see it starting to pull off the dirt and grime and oils from the surface of the tire. Now during the scrubbing process, the suds turn a nice delicious brown, letting me know it's doing its job. For a heavy-duty cleaner, this stuff smells really good, although I definitely don't recommend taking any deep whiffs of this stuff, or any cleaner for that fact. Actually, if you're going to be using this stuff indoors, I strongly recommend using a mask of some sort. Now the Turtle Wax Hyperfoam Wheel Cleaner is going to cost you anywhere from about $10 to $34, depending on if you buy it in the 23-ounce spray size or the gallon size. Yes, this stuff is available in a gallon size for all you professionals. Don't worry, I'll leave links in the description below. Now after the final clean and rinse, for the sake of time, I'm going to use some forced air to thoroughly dry the tire. But if time isn't an issue for you, feel free to let the tire air dry. Okay, so we got the tire and wheel really clean, the tire especially. The tire came out really white, aside from the pink or reddish tinge that this stuff has. So no matter how clean you get the tire, it's always going to have that kind of pinkish tinge you can kind of see from the package. But I noticed the second to last cleaning was pretty good, whether that was 3 or 4, again I can't remember. And then I did it one more time just to be sure, and it came out really nice. The suds were perfectly pink, whitish pink as the color of the product. The color wasn't tinted at all by dirt or brown. So that's pretty typical to a nasty tire or dirty tire that hasn't been cleaned in quite a while. Anywhere from 3 to 5 cleanings is pretty typical. So on that basis, it cleaned well. It's on par with, say, Adams Wheel and Tire Cleaner or Meguiar's Non-Acid, even P&S Brake Buster. But the thing that I really like about this product is the foaming action between the product itself and the foaming trigger sprayer that it comes with from the factory. They both work really well. No doubt you noticed from the footage, this stuff produces a ton of foam. You probably saw bits of foam flying all over the place while I was scrubbing the tire especially. And it clings really well. What I was doing was I would spray it on the tire and I would let it dwell for about 20 seconds before I started scrubbing and agitating. And then by the time I was done scrubbing, agitating, I was ready to rinse. I tried to keep it under a minute of dwell time so that it didn't cause any damage to the rim especially. I want to say too about this cleaner that I did have a little bit of blue that was left on the white lettering. It survived over the last 6, 7, 8 months or however long it's been. It never wore off on its own after that initial cleaning, but this stuff took it off. I think it was gone after about the 2nd or 3rd cleaning. So this wheel and tire are completely clean. Now it's time to move on to our dressing or tire coating. Okay, so just as an added bonus for this stuff, I want to see how it cleans a wheel that is not agitated. This front passenger side wheel is fairly dirty. It's about as dirty as I allow my wheels to get. Hasn't been cleaned in probably about 6 weeks or so. So it's fairly dirty. I want to see how this stuff cleans with just about 30 to 40 seconds of dwell time and then rinse. So I'm going to actually rinse it first to get any really loose brake dust contamination off the wheel. And then I'm going to spray this stuff on, let it dwell for about 30-40 seconds. That way I know that when I do my final rinse, it's not removing anything that was loose already. So I'm going to put a little mark in the wheel so that I know what's clean, what's not. I'll have a little control area to see how much this stuff has actually cleaned the wheel and how much it's actually left behind. Okay, so after an initial rinse, here's the little mark that I made in the brake dust. You can see it's a little cleaner, not a whole lot, but it's a little cleaner. You can still see the mark, so there is still definitely some brake dust left over on the wheel. Let's see how much of that residual brake dust is removed with no agitation and then a rinse. So again, I'm going to let it dwell for about 30 to 40 seconds. Not too bad. I can barely see where my finger line was in the brake dust. It does still need some agitation, but for a spray on, let dwell, and then rinse off wheel cleaner, it did a pretty good job. All right, so again, to dress or coat the tire, we've got hybrid solutions from Turtle Wax, Graphene Acrylic, tire shine spray coating. Now, again, spray coating, a lot of companies are using the term coating, tire coating these days. Let's just read the description here. Deep dark gloss infused with incredible durability, repellency, and UV protection. Now, the fact that it's got graphene in it is supposed to boost its longevity. The first bullet says, synthetic shine polymers, delivers an adjustable deep dark shine and prevents tires from browning. Okay, that's pretty typical of a description of a tire coating. Graphene and acrylic polymers, this unique combination produces an amazing sling-free, durable and washable coating with UV protection that repels water and contaminants for months. So typical Turtle Wax, they're going to say months instead of giving more of an exact time frame, which really is the smart thing to do. They don't know how well you're going to clean your tires. They don't know what kind of environment you're going to be driving in. They don't know what kind of tire is on your vehicle because tire shines, tire coatings will react differently and bond differently to the chemistry or the different chemistry within different tire brands. So that needs to be said, that needs to be considered. A lot of things are subjective within the auto detailing industry or the auto detailing world. So the directions on the back say thoroughly wash, scrub, rinse, and dry tires. So we've done that. Shake well. Spray evenly onto the tire surface. Allow product to penetrate for 3 to 5 minutes. Wipe excess product with a clean, dry microfiber towel or foam applicator. For maximum shine and durability, repeat application. For best performance, clean tire first with hybrid solutions, Hyperfoam, wheel cleaner, and tire prep. So that's what we use to clean the tire per the instructions of the tire coating. So enough talking, let's go ahead and use this stuff and get this tire coated with our first coat. Now the first thing we want to do is give it a good shake, and then I'm going to mist it on the tire as evenly as possible. If you have knobbier tires or pronounced lettering, try to be a little lighter in these areas to try and prevent pooling and eventual product running and even slinging. Once you have the product applied, be sure to wipe any overspray off the wheel. I'm using a 60-40 water IPA mixture. Then, per the instructions, after a few minutes, I'm going to put a little bit more product on my applicator, and the directions say to just massage the product around the tire to even it out. Now this stuff, just like most other graphene-based products, is tinted black, so you may be wondering, if you have white letter tires, will this stuff tint or stain my white letters? The answer is no. Hopefully you can tell from the footage that my white lettering is not affected at all. Now the directions only give a dry time prior to smoothing the product around the tire. Again, 3 to 5 minutes, but no dry or cure times, either between coats or overall. So based on experience with other similar products, I'm going to give this stuff about 15 to 20 minutes before I put on a second coat. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes, maybe a hair more than that. The tire coating is pretty much dry for the most part. There's still some little wet areas inside, like the white lettering, or inside some of the treads, the deeper areas of the treads. But we're going to go ahead and leave that and put a second coat on. Now the first coat, it's got a very nice satin, not matte, but I'd say a little bit shinier than matte, like a satin finish to it. So if that's your sheen, if that's your preference, you probably want to stop right here. But for me personally, I want to go a little bit shinier, a little glossier to like a semi-gloss. and I want the added durability, so I'm going to go with a second coat. So we're going to apply the second coat the same as the first coat. So just like the wheel and tire cleaner, this stuff has a very, very similar scent, very fresh and clean. Alright, so again, we're going to let this sit for about 3 to 5 minutes before we rub it or massage it into the tire. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes or so. Again, we're going to massage the product around the tire, into the tire, and smooth it out nice and even. And now, again, just like the first coat, we're going to let it sit and dwell and cure for about 15 minutes. Okay, so the tire has had about 20 minutes to dry. So we take a look at the after footage. So after 2 coats, we have a really, really nice semi-gloss sheen or finish. No doubt you can also notice some running or weeping of the product out of the areas that I mentioned before, like in the knobs or in the white lettering. Like I said, it can be difficult to not get too much in those areas that tend to collect the product, but those runs will easily wipe and blend away. Now if you want even more sheen, maybe a hyper glossy look, you can add more layers, and that may even boost the longevity. But personally, I like the semi-gloss look, and I think 2 layers is a good combination of aesthetics, time spent to apply the product, and hopefully its longevity. With the dry times and the cure times between each coat, it's going to take you around half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour to clean, prep, dry, coat. I think the wheel and tire cleaner performed really well. Again, it cleaned off any residual blue residue that was on my white lettering. I was really happy about that. Came clean in about around 4 cleanings, and it had a nice scent to it, so that was a nice little bonus. It foamed really well, which it says it does. It's hyper foam, so we do expect a lot of foam. Now again, the only real benefit of foam is that it gives you more dwell time for the cleaner to sit on the substrate to clean it. But other than that, foam is more just fun. But this stuff did foam really well, so if you want a really good foaming wheel and tire cleaner, this stuff is a really good option for that. It even did pretty well with just spray it on, let it dwell for about 30 seconds, 30 to 40 seconds, and then spray it off, as we saw on the front passenger wheel. So honestly, even though this stuff I believe is acidic, any wheel and tire cleaner, whether it's acidic or non-acidic, anything beyond a light layer of dust on the wheel really does require some agitation to get it nice and clean. But again, for no agitation, just a dwell and rinse, this stuff did a pretty good job in a pinch. Now as for the Graphene Acrylic Tire Shine Spray Coating, it went on pretty good. It was a little thicker than I thought it was going to be. It didn't dry as fast as I would have liked. Your traditional tire coating, you can typically tell it's totally dry within about 10 to 15 minutes. Even in the areas like I showed before, like in the white lettering or in the knobs of the treads, typically where tire dressing or a tire coating or liquid would collect at a little bit higher rate or deeper rate. So after I let it dry for about 15-20 minutes after each coat, I did notice that there was still a little bit of wetness or wet pooling in those areas, which will produce slinging if you drive the vehicle right away. I'm not going to be driving right away, so I'm not really worried about that. Hopefully by the morning this stuff is totally cured. Also, I wanted to show how this stuff looks the morning after, now that it's had a chance to be fully cured and dry. As expected, it still looks really good. Pretty much the same. The sheen has calmed down a bit now that it's fully dry, but that's to be expected. It's also literally fully dry, which is indicative of a tire coating. You can see there's no residue coming off on my gloves. And of course, I will keep you updated as to the longevity of this stuff. That's really the whole point of a tire coating, especially one that touts that it contains graphene that's going to make it last even longer. We'll see if this stuff can outperform my favorite tire coating, which is Duradressing from Duracoating Technologies. We'll see if this stuff can rival it as a consumer grade, off-the-shelf, local auto parts store type product. Again, it smelled really nice. It went on pretty easy. I tried to mist it on as light as I could so that I didn't get too much collection within the treads or the white lettering. But again, it's difficult to get full coverage and only mist it on without getting a little bit too much product in some of those spaces. But we'll see how it goes over the next few weeks. I'll probably make an update video in about 3 weeks from now. As a tire coating, this stuff should look pretty decent after only 3 weeks, but 3 weeks from now, we'll see. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found value in this content. Don't forget to like and subscribe right down below. And again, I'm Seth with Turner Mobile Detailing, and we'll see you in the next video.